Around here, there's a bunch of crooks around here.
You ain't supposed to be in that job, boy. Get out of there, man.
No, that's a total no, man. Bad coming.
Is my salary going up?
Bahamian people gotta wake up.
This is my 5 cents and I approve this message.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned in to MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the Deputy Prime Minister claims government has created 10,000 jobs, but do the numbers match up? A confirmed case of the mosquito-transmitted chikungunya virus, a man stabbed to death on Eleuthera, and a sweet way to celebrate independence this year. I'm Paige McCartney, and we've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. 2 years into his term, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis claims the Progressive Liberal Party government has fulfilled its campaign promise of creating 10,000 jobs. In fact, Davis told MB12 the Christie administration has exceeded that figure. However, according to the Department of Statistics figures, the government hasn't come even close to creating that many jobs since May 2012. Vani too takes a look at the numbers.
It's time for a tough new plan. That is the social agenda of the PLP. It moves persons from poverty into the middle class and to the upper class.
To create jobs. Jobs for Bahamians.
Job creation was a key focus of the Progressive Liberal Party's election campaign in 2012. In fact, the party's deputy leader, Philip Brave Davis, went as far as pledging that the Christie administration would create 10,000 jobs within its first year in office. However, just last week, the U.S. State Department in its Investment Climate Report listed the 10,000 jobs claim as one of the PLP government's many unfulfilled promises. The Deputy Prime Minister called U.S. officials' criticisms inappropriate and insisted the Christie administration has not only achieved that goal, but created more than 10,000 jobs since coming to office.
I find it silly to follow up on it because I can count the number of jobs that's created just from my ministry. Right, from the small home repairs, the amount of persons who are employed in that, from the roads and bridges program that I've engaged, that have been employed by that, by the number of contracts I have given out. I have created more than 10,000 jobs just in the contracts of works I've given out from my ministry.
Davis also insisted that the government has created many jobs on Grand Bahama and on the Family Island since May 2012.
We talk about what's happening in Grand Bahama with the memories, the amount of persons that have been employed there, what is happening in Bimini Bay, right, what is happening in the Family Islands. I mean, I'm satisfied that we're beyond that. But why? Yeah, we're beyond that, and I'm satisfied of that. And I've not been commenting on it because I find it's sophistry.
However, unemployment figures compiled by the Department of Statistics contradict the Deputy Prime Minister's statements. According to the 2012 Labor Force Survey, 163,330 people were employed in the Bahamas in May 2012. Now fast forward to November 2013, when the employed labor force stood at 166,595 people. That's 3,265 jobs added to the Bahamian economy. More jobs could have been created between November 2013 and July 2014, but it's unlikely that figure would be anywhere near 10,000. In fact, the Department of Statistics reported in October 2013 that the unemployment rate jumped from 14% to 16.2%. Unemployment has decreased since then, but by less than 1%. It's not the first time the PLP government's record on job creation has been questioned. Remember this?
They've always believed in the Bahamas, the PLP, a tradition carried forward by Perry Christie. His record of accomplishment, urban renewal, 1,300 homes built, $25 million to support Bahamian entrepreneurs, 22,000 jobs created, That's 22,000 new Bahamian jobs.
In early 2012, Perry Christie repeatedly claimed that his administration created 22,000 jobs between 2002 and 2007. However, figures from the Department of Statistics showed that the previous Christie administration actually created 18,800 jobs. That being said, Davis says he stands by that claim and has no regrets.
What regrets? That was said in the context that between 2002, 2012, the Christie administration created over 22,000 jobs.
Referring to U.S. officials' criticisms of the PLP's campaign promises, Davis says it's not our business to comment on issues in the United States and vice versa.
I think it's inappropriate for any foreign state to comment on the internal debate of issues.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Voni Tood.
Health officials have confirmed at least one case of chikungunya fever in the Bahamas. According to a statement released by the Ministry of Health over the weekend, a man visiting from the Dominican Republic arrived in the Bahamas on June 29th and was admitted to Princess Margaret Hospital on June 30th and was subsequently tested. The confirmed positive test was received on Friday. Health officials say the patient is being treated and his recovery is going well. Chikungunya is an illness caused by a virus that spreads through the bite of an Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is commonly found throughout the Bahamas. The particular mosquito is known to transmit other diseases such as dengue, which affected thousands of Bahamians in 2011. Since December 2013, the chikungunya virus has quickly spread throughout the Caribbean. According to the Ministry of Health, 22 countries in the Caribbean have reported cases. The Center for Disease Control has issued a Level 1 watch on Caribbean travel, which advises travelers to practice usual precautions. Symptoms include high fever and severe joint pains in the hands and feet, which can persist for several weeks. Other symptoms include muscle pain and joint swelling and rash. Chikungunya disease rarely results in death. However, officials say the symptoms can be severe and disabling. In other news tonight, police are investigating a murder that occurred on Palmetto Point, Eleuthera overnight. Officers of the Central Detective Unit traveled to the island today after a young man's body was found in a building at around 9 a.m. The victim reportedly suffered multiple stab wounds about the body. We understand he was 18-year-old Hayward Thompson. Investigations continue. Now, for some time now, government has acknowledged that the fear of crime has increased among residents. But now a market research analyst has the numbers to support just how fearful Bahamians are. According to President of Market Research and Strategy Company Public Domain, Mwale Raming, the fear of crime index on New Providence stands at 7.82 out of a scale of 1 to 10. The figure was derived from a scientific poll of a randomly generated pool of 800 residents who were called and asked to rate their fear of crime on a scale of 1 to 10. Raming said the numbers show that the fear is more significant among women, the elderly, and those with an income of $20,000 or less annually.
The index stands right now at 7.82 out of 10. Relatively high, not at epidemic proportions. We're not seeing 8 or 9. But for women, it's 8.35. So women are fearing crime way more than men. And a full 50%, 1 out of 2 women, give it a 10 out of 10. Wow. So, I mean, this is a big deal for women. It's also 50% of people who are 55 years or older, give it a 10 out of 10. Wow. And 50% of people who earn under $20,000 a year, give it a 10 out of 10.
Those polled were also asked the question, who's responsible for crime? The government, the media, or society? 18% of those polled blamed the government and only 6% blamed the media. More than 70% of those who blamed society for the crime problem came from households of $20,000 or less in annual income.
60% of the respondents say society. So, I mean, we are looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, listen, this is, the reality of it is I've allowed my son to become this, or I've allowed my daughter to become this. I don't know if we're demanding that society fix the problem. I think we may be looking at government to fix the problem, even though we recognize society has caused the problem.
The company plans to publish the results in a few months. Raming said he'd like to partner with government, in particular police officials, to sensitize them to the amount of fear experienced by Bahamians.
If we were to do this every 3 months or at least every 6 months to see where are we going, are we improving? Are there times of the year where it gets higher or gets lower? You know, the Christmas holidays. What are we going to see when we do it then? Obviously, this is the first one that we've done, so it's hard to compare. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? But it is significant to look. And like I say, I like the fact that we look in the mirror and we evaluate what we're saying, and we're saying that we have a fear of crime problem. This is not news to anybody, but to actually put a number to it, I think this is the first time that we've done that. And I'd like to see this number and track it and see how it goes, for the next couple months.
National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage has recently said that crime was down 6%. Raming said although the level of crime may be lower, the fear of crime can be just as damaging to Bahamians' way of life. And Free National Movement Member of Parliament Edison Key says he doesn't intend to vote against the amended gaming bill, despite FNM leader Dr. Hubert Minnis' assertion that the opposition will not be supporting it. Key told MB12 that while he disagrees with the law which prohibits Bahamians from gambling in local casinos, he has a mind of his own, and the former FNM government had intended to take a similar approach.
I'm not worrying about my party. I vote the way I believe I should vote. From what I understood, the party was planning to legalize before the election. These were things on the drawing board.
Key says he also went against his party and voted in favor of regulating web shops in the last year's gambling referendum. His comments come days after Dr. Minnis told MB12 that the FNM's position on the gaming bill has not changed and the opposition will stick on the side of voters who overwhelmingly rejected the regulation and taxation of web shops.
I don't mind, I voted for it. I didn't vote against it in the referendum. So it doesn't matter to me. I have a mind of my own, and I've seen people gambling and they have numbers from pieces of paper, writing numbers down on it, and for years and years, and all of a sudden it becomes a big issue, and then it goes to the referendum, and then the churches get involved, and all of this sort of thing, and it's a big issue right now, and it needs to be dealt with and settled.
That being said, Key says Bahamians who want to gamble in the Bahamas should not be discriminated against. The newest draft of the gaming bill would continue to prohibit Bahamians from gambling in casinos, though.
I don't think there should be any discrimination in the gambling, whether it's in the casinos or in the web shops. If you want to gamble, you gamble.
You think Bahamians should be able to gamble
If they want to. I think if the law covered them and gave them that permission to do that, that'd be entirely up to the individual. I might not want to go out and gamble in the casinos, but I should have a choice. I don't think there should be any discrimination against Bahamians. I don't think it's anything that foreign people can do in this country that you or me or Bahamians should not be able to do.
The amended gaming bill is expected to be tabled in Parliament by the end of this month. According to the bill, web shops would be permitted to legally engage in cash betting transactions with domestic players only.